Assalamu alaikum to all the students and welcome to you all in our English language class. And I am your English teacher Sitra. Today we are having lecture number 25, which is about conditional sentences. It is a very important topic. You should be very um, attentive, okay, during whole the lecture so that you will get and you will be able to understand the key points of conditional sentences, the structures of these types of sentences. They are typical and they are very much different from the previous tenses and types of sentences, forms of sentences. They are totally different from that. Okay, the structures are very similar. It is inside from the tenses में से ही निकाली हुई एक चीज है, but these are conditional sentences. Okay, now these are some conditional types. You may say that if will always be in the conditional sentence, if clause will always be in the conditional sentence, and we have these four types of conditional sentences: zero, first, second and third. These are four conditional types of sentences, which are zero, first, second and third. Okay, we can write the conditional sentences type 0 in this words form, or you can also write this digit form. Okay, number में भी लिखा जा सकता है, and it can also be written in the words also. So we can write conditional in any form. It's up to you. Both are same. First of all, we are having conditional forms type 0 and type 1. Today we will be having type 0 and 1. It means we are going to learn two types of conditional sentences today. Conditional sentences are also known as conditional clauses. Clauses are the part of sentences. If we have a single sentence which ends on full stop, okay, so the half part of the sentence, if a sentence is broken into two parts, that these two parts separately or individually called clauses. अगर एक sentence आपके 3 या 4 या 2 parts में broken है, okay, comma के साथ, semicolon के साथ, if a sentence is broken into 2, 3 or 4 parts, तो उस single part को हम clause कहते हैं. Okay, conditional sentences are also known as conditional clauses, if clause also. Okay, conditional sentences को we can also call conditional clause or if clause. If clause also means conditional sentences. They are used to express that the action in the main clause without if. We have two clauses in the conditional sentences. One is called main clause and the second one is called if clause. Okay, we have two kinds of clauses in the conditional sentence. One is called if clause and the second one is called main clause. Main clause is without if. Okay, they are used to express that the action in the main clause, which is without if, can also take place if a certain can only take place if a certain condition in the clause with if is fulfilled. Means if you are having two clauses, one is with clause if and the second one is without if. Okay, one clause is with if, which is called main clause, and the second one is the clause in which you are using if. This is called if clause, and the clause which is without if, it is called main clause. ठीक है, तो what happened in the conditional sentences that the main clause can only take place, जो आपके main clause में जो action perform हो रहा है वो सिर्फ उसी वक्त perform होगा when the certain conditional is fulfilled. अगर if clause वाला काम होगा तो main clause वाला काम होगा. Okay, अगर if clause वाला काम नहीं होगा, action take place नहीं होगा, then the second one sentence will not be completed. There are three types of conditional sentences. We have actually four types. ठीक है. Some of the people call them uh, three, call them four also. call them uh, mm, they means different kinds of books they are having according to their level. They have sometimes three types of conditional sentences. They are sometimes having four types of conditional sentences, means the first one, the zero conditional sentence, sometimes omitted because it is you can say a universal truth. That's why so many people they don't add in their syllabus. Okay, so actually we are having four, but zero is also to be considered to be added over here. This is the main structure, you may say, or a very raw structure of conditional sentences. A conditional sentence is composed of two parts. Okay, every conditional sentence is composed of two parts. Number one is if clause and the second one is main clause. See, we have separated, we have divided a sentence into two parts. One part is if clause and the second part is main clause. ठीक है, तो जो sentences को हम जितने parts में break करते हैं, each and every part individually called clause. ठीक है, in conditional sentences we have two parts. ठीक है, it is composed of two parts or two clauses, you may say. One is if clause plus second one is main clause. What we learned over here that the main clause of the sentence will only take place if the if clause will take place. अगर ये वाला clause complete होता है, then this one will be completed. If the action in this clause will perform, then only this action will be taken place. ठीक है? See, now we are having four types, four main kinds of conditionals. Number one is zero conditional. The structure is if will always be here. आपके conditional sentences always composed of if के बगैर conditional sentences पर you may say compose नहीं हो पाएगा, or it will not be created, it will not be made, it will not be formed. Without if आपके conditional sentences form ही नहीं होंगे. Zero conditional is if plus present simple comma present simple. You have to put comma between two clauses. Okay, आपने sentence को make complete form करने के लिए first you have to use if, okay, with the conditional clause which is present simple, and again main clause is also present simple, so you have to put comma between these two present simple sentences to make them separate. Now the second one is the first conditional. Okay, zero we have done. The structure is present simple plus present simple, and you have to use if with the if clause. जिस चीज के ऊपर next वाला काम dependent है, you have to use if clause with that sentence. Now the first conditional is if plus present simple comma would will plus infinitive. Will plus infinitive means will plus v1. Okay, and whenever you are having singular subjects, so you have to use s or es with the v1. ठीक है, but here you have to use will also, and will के साथ we never use s or es with first form of the verb. So the simple sentence or simple structure of the first conditional is if plus present simple comma will plus infinitive. Infinitive is 2 plus v1. Okay, जो हमारा infinitive कहलाता है, infinitives are 2 plus v1, and you have to use will plus v1 over here. The second conditional is if plus past simple and comma would plus infinitive means would plus v1. ठीक है, and the third conditional is if plus past perfect comma would have plus past perfect. Past perfect means v3. Okay, when we will be making their translation, जब हम उसको translate करेंगे तो it will not written in this form के present simple plus present simple. No, I have made the slide to make you understand easily. If plus v1 comma v1. Okay, if plus v1 comma v plus v1. If plus v2 comma would plus v1, and then if plus v3. Okay, if plus have v3 then would have v3. Okay, मैंने जो structure form किया है to make you understand easy, it will be in the forms of verb. ये हमें words में नहीं, उसमें originally structure की form में आपको given होगा. Now फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वेयर डू वी यूज जीरो कंडीशनल, हम कब यूज करते हैं, हाउ टू मेक देयर सेंटेंसेस आल्सो, इट विल बी डिफाइंड ओवर हियर. व्हेन इज द जीरो कंडीशनल सेंटेंस? इफ क्लॉज टाइप जीरो यूज्ड. कंडीशनल सेंटेंस आर आल्सो कॉल्ड if clauses. Okay, in general we use conditional sentences for ideas or situations that depend on another. In general we use conditional sentences for ideas or situations that depend on another. Means if clause is dependent, sorry, main clause is dependent on the if clause. If clause action will be performed, then only the main clause action will be performed. ओके, इफ क्लॉज का एक्शन जब तक परफॉर्म नहीं किया जाएगा, नेक्स्ट मेन क्लॉज का एक्शन उस वक्त तक परफॉर्म नहीं होगा. मेन क्लॉज एक्शन और वर्ब इज डिपेंडेंट ऑन द इफ क्लॉज वर्ब. एक काम जब तक परफॉर्म नहीं होगा, जब तक दूसरा काम परफॉर्म हो नहीं जाता. ओके, easily, simply, when you will be coming to the slide of translation, then you will get it easily. Accordingly, they are linked to a condition in which four types of conditional sentences are differentiated depending on probability or possibility. Probability or possibility means किसी चीज़ को करने की मुमकिन या जो उसके हालात हैं कुछ इस तरह के फॉर्म हो जाएं that you will be able to perform that action. Okay, probability और possibility किसी भी चीज़ की होने की सलाहियत यू में कॉल इट, और उसके मुमकिन हालात. ठीक है, उसकी अकॉर्डिंगली एटमॉस्फेयर में जो भी चीज़ें हैं वो अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट सर्कमस्टेंसेस अगर वो परफॉर्म होते हैं देन इट विल बी ओके, देन इट विल बी परफॉर्म्ड, अदरवाइज वो काम परफॉर्म नहीं हो पाएगा. इफ समथिंग इज ऑलवेज ट्रू अंडर सर्टेन सर्कमस्टांसेस, the zero conditional sentence or if clause type zero is utilized in particular compare. What they are saying that if something is always true under certain circumstances, कि कुछ ऐसी realities हैं which are always true. ठीक है, which are always true means अगर तुम switch on करोगे तो fan on हो जाएगा. ठीक है, और अगर तुम खाना खाते हो तो तुम्हें एनर्जी मिलती है. ठीक है, these are something realities. ओके, अगर तुम ज़्यादा टेलीविज़न देखते हो तो तुम्हारी आँखें कमज़ोर हो जाती हैं. These are some universal truths you may say. These are some true realities, true possibilities which are under circumstances which are very certain. ठीक है, then we use the zero sentences or if clause type zero, it is utilized in that particular compare. In that particular part. Now we have to compare this type of conditional sentences is suitable for things that happen every time the associated condition is met. जब जब एक काम होगा तब तब दूसरा काम परफॉर्म होगा लाजमी. ठीक है, this type of conditional sentences is suitable for things that happen every time the associated condition is met, which means in the same situations. Okay, therefore such things are facts. Some of them are given over here. See the examples. Some examples of the uses of the zero conditionals are here. If you start the engine, you hear that strange sound. Okay, जब जब हम engine को start करते हैं, then whenever we start the engine, we always hear that strange sound. Okay, these are some realities. If you drink a glass of milk before you go to bed, you sleep well. जब जब हम सोने से पहले एक ग्लास दूध का पीकर सोने के लिए जाते हैं तो हम अच्छी नींद लेते हैं या अच्छी तरह से सो पाते हैं. ठीक है, these are some realities. Means अच्छा, in some instances if can be replaced by when or whenever. Sometimes if clause is also replaced if word. ये जो if का हमारा preposition है और you may say ये जो word है it can be replaced with when or whenever. कभी कभी हम उसको when और whenever के साथ replace भी करते हैं. You call that number whenever you have a problem, or if you have a problem you can call that number. ठीक है, if के साथ भी यूज़ किया जा सकता है, और you can call on that number whenever you have a problem. जब जब तुम्हें कोई प्रॉब्लम होती है तो तुम मुझे इस नंबर पर कॉल कर सकते हो. ओके, when he goes on a trip he always takes a lot of pictures. ओके, वो जब भी ट्रिप पर जाता है तो हमेशा बहुत सारी पिक्चर्स लेता है. मीन्स now you may say the structure v1 plus v1 goes takes present simple plus present simple. What we did over here, that zero conditionals are formed with if plus or when plus or whenever plus present simple and present simple. See, present simple and present simple. Here also v1 and v1. ठीक है? Now, how is the zero conditional sentence if clause type 0 formed? We can form it how? Fundamentally, a conditional sentence always consists of two clauses. We know that कि एक sentence which is conditional sentence, it is broken into two parts और वो two parts individually clauses कहलाते हैं. Means a conditional sentence is always consist of two clauses. One of them, the subordinate clause, okay, usually starts with the word if. जो subordinate clause है, जो first one है हमारा, जो if के साथ start होता है, it is called subordinate clause. ठीक है? और एज मैंशनड अबव विद व्हेन और व्हेनेवर. ठीक है, हम इसको व्हेन और व्हेनेवर के साथ रिप्लेस भी कर सकते हैं. एंड स्पेसिफाइज द कंडीशन व्हाइल द अदर वन, द मेन क्लॉज रिटर्न्स द रिजल्ट. ओके, इफ वाला क्लॉज, इफ फंडामेंटल और इफ सबऑर्डिनेट क्लॉज इज फुलफिल्ड, देन ओनली द रिजल्ट क्लॉज विल बी कंप्लीटेड. अगर हमारा इफ वाला क्लॉज का वर्क परफॉर्म नहीं होगा, तब तक हमारा मेन क्लॉज भी परफॉर्म नहीं होगा. It does not matter which of the two clauses begins the complex sentence. However, in case if is at the beginning, a comma needs to be placed between both for separation. Okay, what they are telling you how you have to write a conditional zero sentence. ठीक है, कैसे लिखना है? First you have to use if clause. Okay, जिस चीज़ के ऊपर result वाला clause dependent है, if clause it will be first. Okay, if will be first placed, then present simple sentence will be coming over here, and then the result clause will also be in the present simple, and you have to put comma between these two clauses to make them separate. ठीक है, this is the you may say the trick of making of writing if clause type 0. Now, rule for forming the zero conditional sentence, as this type refers neither to the future nor to the past, the simple present tense is used. Okay, only simple present will be used over here. No future and no past we are talking about over here. We just are talking about over here present simple. So if plus present simple clause with present simple, you have to use if, whenever or when plus present simple clause with present simple. Either you will use if or when or whenever. Conditional 0. If present simple, then present simple. If you press that button, the fuse blows. Okay, this is the reality कि अगर आप press करेंगे button को तो obviously the fuse will blow. Here a comma is required as the if part sentence, the complex sentence. Okay, the fuse blows. If you press the button, you can also exchange if clause को आप बाद में भी दे सकते हैं. Then you will not be needed to use comma between them क्योंकि बीच में if आ गया है. ठीक है, you can also exchange both the sentences. You can also write or you can also start the sentence with the main clause. आप main clause के साथ भी sentence को start कर सकते हैं. That if clause will be go at this side. Okay, comma के लेफ्ट हैंड पर इफ क्लॉज होता है, कॉमा के राइट हैंड पर मेन क्लॉज होता है. दिस इज द ओरिजिनल स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ conditional sentences. But if you want to exchange their sides, you can also change. Then main clause will be first and comma, then if clause will be the second one. No comma is needed here as if appears in the second part of the sentence. क्योंकि if second part of the sentence में आने से no need to use comma over here. But if अगर आप if clause first sentence में use कर रहे हैं तो you have to put comma between these two present simple. Now come to the translation. See, this is the simplest form of structure, if plus v1 and v1. Okay. Now see the translation. नंबर 1 इज अगर तुम आराम करते हो तो बेहतर महसूस करते हो. इट इज़ ऑब्वियस, इट इज़ रियलिटी. ओके, अगर हम रेस्ट करते हैं, अगर हम आराम करते हैं तो हम कुछ देर के बाद बेहतर महसूस करते हैं, हमारी थकन उतर जाती है. वी रिलीजेस आर प्रॉब्लम्स, वी रिलीजेस आर टेंशंस. ठीक है, वी रिलीज आर बर्डन्स. ठीक है, तो हम जब हम आराम करते हैं तब हम बेहतर महसूस करते हैं. इट हैपेंस. ओके, दिस इज द रियलिटी. देयर इज no need to doubtful over here. Okay, so what will be the sentence translation over here? You have to use if first. ठीक है, अगर वाले सेंटेंस के साथ you have to use if plus v1 and v1, if you take rest comma you feel better. ठीक है, प्रेजेंट सिंपल एंड प्रेजेंट सिंपल, both sentences, both clauses will be in the present simple, and with the conditional clause you have to use if. You can also write in the, in changing the order, you feel better if you take rest. ठीक है, आप इसको इस तरह भी एक्सचेंज करके भी लिख सकते हैं, then you don't need to put comma over here. आंखें खराब हो जाती हैं अगर तुम ज्यादा टीवी देखते हो, द आईज वीकन द मोर यू वॉच टीवी. Okay, this is the reality you may say of the structure, but you, if we have to use if, ठीक है, अगर तुम ज़्यादा टीवी देखते हो तो आंखें ख़राब हो जाती हैं, द आइज वीकन्स इफ़ यू वॉच मोर टीवी. ठीक है, तो वी कैन ऑल्सो, इट इज़ जस्ट फॉर द एग्जाम्पल विच आई वॉन्टेड टू गिव यू, दैट्स वाई आई डिडंट मेक इफ ओवर हेयर. दिस इज़ नॉट द राइट ट्रांसलेशन, बिकॉज वी हैव टू यूज़ इफ ओवर हेयर, क्योंकि ट्रांसलेशन में अगर मौजूद है. Okay, so what will be this translation? The eyes weaken if you watch TV, or if you watch more. Okay, so you have to use over here if you watch TV a lot or more. ठीक है, your eyes weaken. Okay, because it's if clauses we are getting over here, so translation तो हो जाती है, but if you are using if clauses और if conditional sentences, तो आपने if वहाँ यूज करना है. now make third one, अगर तुम बर्फ को गर्म करते हो तो वो पिघल जाती है. what will be the sentence? if you heat the ice comma it melts. Okay, because it is present simple, so you have to use v1 plus s or yes if you are seeing their singular subject. Then we have number 4, अगर तुम नौकरी करते हो तो पैसा कमाते हो. It is also obvious. Okay, so what will be the translation of it? Can anybody tell me? अच्छा, okay, I will ask the questions at the end. ठीक है, तो एक एक translation we will leave over here and then we will be completing it in the presentation questions. अगर तुम नौकरी करते हो तो पैसा कमाते हो. If you do the job comma you earn money. ठीक है, नाउ दिस लास्ट वन, अगर तुम नीला और पीला रंग मिलाते हो तो हरा रंग बनता है. इफ यू मिक्स ब्लू एंड येलो कलर it makes green color. Okay, if plus present simple plus present simple, this is the zero conditional what you have to do today. Okay, and we one sorry, conditional one we will also do. What are the key points of this one? That we use zero conditional whenever we are having some types of sentences that are based on realities, जो realities पर based करती हैं. ठीक है, these are the zero conditional sentences and they are formed like this: if plus v1 and comma v1. Now come to first conditional. When is the first conditional sentence if clause type 1 used? हम इसको use कहाँ करते हैं? The type 1 conditional refers to a possible condition and its probable results. Okay, possible conditions and its probable results, जो जो results इसके मुमकिन हो सकते हैं. These sentences are based on facts and they are used to make statements, okay, about the real world and about particular situations. We often use such sentences to give warnings. In type 1 conditional sentences, the time is the present or future and the situation is real. Use conditional sentences type 1 refer to the future. Okay, we talk about in this tense present plus future. An action in the future will only happen if a certain condition is fulfilled by that time. Means a certain condition, if it fulfilled, then only in future certain action will be performed. एक कंडीशन फ्यूचर में जब ही फुलफिल होगी जब हम फर्स्ट कंडीशन को कंप्लीट करेंगे. वी डोंट नो फॉर श्योर वेदर द कंडीशन एक्चुअली विल बी फुलफिल्ड और नॉट. वी डोंट नो अबाउट दैट. ओके, इन जीरो कंडीशनल हमें पता था कि एक चीज़ करने से दूसरी चीज़ पॉसिबली होगी. अगर तुम मेहनत नहीं करते हो तो रिजल्ट अच्छा नहीं आता है. अगर तुम मेहनत करते हो तो तुम पास हो जाते हो, अगर तुम मेहनत नहीं करते हो तो तुम फेल हो जाते हो. ठीक है, दिस इज कॉल्ड जीरो कंडीशनल. बट इन दिस conditional sentences type 1 में what happens that if you do something, okay, in the particular time its result is depend on future, but you don't know that will it be completed, will it be fulfilled in future or not. आप uncertain रहते हो. So we think it is likely to happen means, but we think that it will perform. जैसे कि हम नॉर्मली फ्यूचर को अपने एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं कि हमारी एक्सपेक्टेशन है दैट इट विल बी डन. वी विल गो फॉर पिकनिक, कि हमारी एक्सपेक्टेशन है दैट वी विल बी गोइंग फॉर पिकनिक नेक्स्ट वीक, बट वी आर नॉट श्योर. हम उसको रियलिटी बेस पर एज्यूम नहीं कर सकते. वी जस्ट कंसिडर इट अ सर्टेन और अनसर्टेन के बीच में एक सिचुएशन. These are some examples of the use of first conditional. If I have time, I will finish that letter. कि अगर मेरे पास टाइम होता हो, सॉरी, अगर मेरे पास टाइम होगा तो मैं लेटर को फिनिश कर लूँगा. बट बोथ सेंटेंसेस आर इन फ्यूचर. इसके जब आप सेंटेंसेस को उर्दू में ट्रांसलेशन में देखेंगे तो बोथ सेंटेंसेस विल बी इन फ्यूचर. लेकिन जब आप उसको इंग्लिश में ट्रांसलेट करेंगे तो द स्ट्रक्चर विल बी V1 plus V1 will V1 present simple plus future will plus future infinitive. ओके, उसको हम जब इंग्लिश में फॉर्म करेंगे तो वो हमारा प्रेजेंट सिंपल और फ्यूचर सिंपल पे बनेगा. बट उसकी उर्दू में जब आप ट्रांसलेशन में सेंटेंसेस को रीड करेंगे तो दे बोथ विल बी इन द फ्यूचर. ठीक है. What will you do if you miss the plane? Okay, again it's a question sentence but it is in conditional type. Nobody will notice if you make a mistake. ठीक है. See, if you make a mistake, present simple. Okay, if you make a mistake, nobody will notice. If plus present simple and will plus v1. If you don't drop the gun, I will shoot. अगर तुमने अपनी गन ड्रॉप नहीं की तो मैं तुम्हें शूट कर दूंगा. ठीक है. इफ यू डोंट लीव, आई विल कॉल द पुलिस. ऑलवेज इफ के साथ वी विल ऑलवेज यूज प्रेजेंट सिंपल इन कंडीशनल वन टाइप. ठीक है. इफ प्लस वी वन कॉमा विल प्लस वी वन. ओके, दिस इज called the original structure of will, sorry, conditional type 1. In type 1 conditional sentences, you can also use models in the main clause instead of the future tense to express the degree of the certainty. मीन्स आप अपनी एक्सपेक्टेशन की डिग्री को, उसकी इंटेंसिटी को देखते हुए यू कैन ऑल्सो यूज मॉडल वर्ब्स. मॉडल वर्ब्स आर, आई टोल्ड यू द मॉडल वर्ब्स कैन, कुड, माइट, मे, शुड, would. These all are model verbs and you can use these types of model verbs instead of will. Okay, to express the degree, to express the intensity of certainty. कितना ज़्यादा पॉसिबिलिटी है और कितनी ज़्यादा इम्पॉसिबिलिटी है उस काम को परफॉर्म होने के लिए इन फ्यूचर. ठीक है. फॉर परमिशन ऑल्सो और अ रिकमेंडेशन अबाउट द आउटकम ऑल्सो. ओके, सम एग्जाम्पल्स आर हियर. इफ यू ड्रॉप दैट क्लासेस इट माइट ब्रेक. अगर तुम ड्रॉप कर दोगे क्लासेस को तो वो टूट सकते हैं या टूट भी सकते हैं, टूट भी जाएंगे. ठीक है. माइट इज अ मॉडल वर्ब. आई मे फिनिश दैट लेटर इफ आई हैव टाइम. कि अगर मुझे टाइम मिलता है तो शायद मैं इसको लेटर को फिनिश कर लूँ. मीन्स यू आर अनसर्टेन अबाउट बट यू हैव टू यूज दीज टाइप्स ऑफ मॉडल्स अकॉर्डिंग टू द इंटेंसिटी ऑफ सर्टेनिटी. कि उस काम को होने की कितनी सर्टेनिटी है, कितने डिग्री चांसेस हैं. ओके, इफ ही कॉल्स यू, यू शुड गो. Now, how is the first conditional sentence if clause type 1 formed? In a type 1 conditional sentence, the tense in the if clause is the simple present and the tense in the main clause is future simple. See the example, if clause condition with main clause result. ठीक है. If plus present simple and future simple. If this thing happens, then that will happen. See here, no will, यहाँ will नहीं आएगा. Only you have to use if के साथ we will always use present simple in type 1 condition, and then the main clause, the result clause will be with will. ठीक है, सिर्फ वो वाला clause will में होगा. Rule for forming the first conditional sentence: it is possible and also very likely that the condition will be fulfilled. बहुत ज़्यादा हद तक likely होता है कि condition fulfill हो जाएगी, otherwise वो हमारी uncertainty पे dependent भी होता है. If present simple, will plus will future. Example: if I find her address, I will send her an invitation. अगर मुझे उसका एड्रेस मिल जाता है तो मैं उसको invitation send कर दूंगा. Now come to the translation: if plus v1, will plus v1. ठीक है, this is the simple structure which I have made for you to translate Urdu sentences into English. अगर वो मेहनत करेगा तो कामयाब हो जाएगा. सी दोनों sentences में in Urdu you are seeing हो जाएगा, करेगा. ठीक है, या we can also write it: अगर वो मेहनत करता है तो कामयाब हो जाएगा. Both are right, but the original, or you may say the most fluently used sentences in Urdu are अगर वो मेहनत करेगा तो कामयाब हो जाएगा. Both sentences in Urdu are in future, but when we will translate them into English, the if clause will be in present simple, and the second one after comma जो main clause है, it will be converted into future. If he works hard, he will succeed. अगर मुझे देर होगी तो मैं तुम्हें बता दूंगा. If I get late, I will tell you. अगर तुम जाओगे तो उससे मुलाकात हो जाएगी. If you go, you can. Now we should write over here. जी, if you go, क्योंकि वहाँ या यहाँ का sentence it is not written over here, तो we are not writing here or there. ठीक है, otherwise we can also write over here. If you go there भी हम लिख सकते हैं, but यहाँ कुछ पे mention नहीं है, that's why I'm not writing. If you go, comma, you will meet him. ठीक है, तो तुम्हारी उससे मुलाकात हो जाएगी. अगर वो मेरी बात मानेगा तो क्लास में बैठेगा. इफ ही लिसन्स टू मी, ही विल सिट इन द क्लास. ठीक है, सॉरी, लिसन टू मी कॉमा. ठीक है, देन अगर मेरे वालिद घर पर नहीं होंगे तो मैं बाहर जाऊंगा. इफ माई फादर, अगर मेरे वालिद घर पर नहीं होंगे, इफ माई फादर डजंट एट होम, आई विल गो आउट. ठीक है, अगर मेरे वालिद घर पर नहीं होंगे तो मैं बाहर जाऊंगा. इफ माई फादर डज नॉट एट होम, डजंट, इफ माई फादर, हाँ ओके, आई विल गो आउट. ठीक है, तो दीज आर द zero and conditional type 1. Now these are some presentation questions, or if you are having any type of confusion or question, you can also ask me. ठीक है, I am just calling some students to give me the answers. Alishba Sarfraz, you will reply me for question number 1, as we are not having so much time. ठीक है, 5 or 6 minutes we are having, so you will be writing your answers in the chat box. And Alishba Sarfraz, you will reply me for question number 1. Anam Zafar, question number 2. ठीक है, question 1, question 2. Then Fatma Nadeem, you will be replying with me for question number 3. ठीक है, क्वेश्चन नंबर 3 हमें फातिमा बताएंगी, फातिमा नदीम. देन रमला, क्वेश्चन नंबर 4. एंड हु इज रुकैया, ये रुकैया कौन है? प्लीज राइट योर नेम प्रॉपरली एंड रीनेम द आईडी सो दैट आई कैन मार्क द अटेंडेंस. ओके, एंड Vanya, you will be replying me for question number 5. Okay, I have allotted 5 questions to 5 students. You will be replying me. And after half a minute, I'll be taking your answers. Rukaiya, who is Rukaiya? Kindly rename your ID, otherwise I'll not mark your attendance bete, or let me know in the chat box who are you. Rukaiya कौन है ये? I don't know. I'll not mark the attendance if you will not rename your ID. अच्छा जी, now I am taking your answers. ठीक है? Nobody has given me the answer right now. Everybody don't need to rename the ID. I'm only talking about who is Rukaiya. I don't know who is that one. Kindly rename your ID so that your attendance will be marked. Saad Khurram, you are again in with your brother's ID, I think. Nabil Khurram, kindly rename it. इसको rename कीजिए please. I'll not mark the attendance. Yes, where are the answers? I'm waiting for the answers now. Okay. There are four types of conditional sentences. Very good. And they are four. How they are four? 0, 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Very good, Vanya. Good. Now, okay, Sadhurra, kindly rename your ID when you start taking the class. Okay, जैसे ही class start होती है, please अपनी ID को rename कर लिया करें. All those who are not with, I'm not talking about everyone. सबके लिए बात नहीं कर रही हूँ. I'm only talking about all those who are coming with their brother or their sisters or their mother or fathers की ID से जो भी आ रहे हैं. Everybody don't need to do this. Yes, where are the others answers? What is the second name of conditional clause? I asked with Alishba Sarfraz, where is she? Question number 1. The second name of conditional clause is if clause. Very good. Right, Alishba. Conditional clause को we can also call if clause. ठीक है? और if की जगह we can also use when and whenever. ठीक है? We can replace if with when or whenever. Okay, and where are the others? Fatma Nadeem, you haven't replied me yet. We are not having so much time, only 1 minute is left. Your these presentation marks are counted, okay? They are always counted. Whenever I make the presentation slide, I always calculate the marks also. Anam Zafar has not replied. Anam Zafar, where are you? I asked question number 2 with you. Vanya has it. Tehseen Rehan kaun hai bhai? Who is that Tehseen Rehan? Kindly rename that ID. Ramla, I asked you a question. You didn't reply me. Anybody can want to give the answer of these unanswered questions. Two types of what, Jai Kumar? I'm not getting what you are saying. Okay, bete, we are not having so much time. Ramla, पूरी क्लास होने के बाद now you are telling me that आवाज नहीं आ रही. What is that? चलिए, okay, we are not having so much. We are not having a time for this class. Now we will meet inshallah day after tomorrow. Till then, take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz all of you.